Alright, doing another quick video on the microplastic shredder. I got a lot of questions about the bearings specifically. What I have on the right here is the bearing that comes with the router bit that goes along the main axle or the main shaft that clips up or you screw onto your drill. And this is the bearing that I have in the bill of materials. You can see there is a very large size disparity here. This bearing inside of it, I mean, all bearings work on little balls inside of there that rotate around. And if you look at the size of this, how much wall there is between the internal diameter and the external diameter, there's not a lot of room for a bearing in there. So the biggest complaint that I got or saw in the reviews of the router bits was that these bearings would blow out really fast because they just weren't rated for that much force. And since we're using this in a way that's not designed for, I got a larger bearing that could handle that force. If you're having a hard time getting this bearing into here, what I suggest is getting a deburring tool. These things are worth their weight in gold. And if you're only going to use it on plastic, it'll last you a lifetime. I'm still using the original tool bit that it came with, that I bought it, that was installed on it, and so it still works great. But you buy one of these and you can take this and run it around the circle a couple times, and you can see I've kind of hogged out a little bit of material and made a nice little cone in there, and that will help you, like a recess, it'll help you kind of guide it in. And you can see it still sits a little bit proud, so what I'll do is I'll end up taking a rubber mallet, or I'll put it in a vise and press it in there the rest of the way. You don't want to hog it out or too much, or really ream it out too far, because you want it to be a nice snug tight fit. And you may say, on the other side, this bearing is big enough to fit into here, and again, I do the same thing, take my deburring tool and chamfer it a little bit, make a nice little cone to fit it in there. But on the end of your router bit, it's a much smaller diameter of shaft, so this hole is actually smaller diameter, so the balls on the inside are much bigger, so they can handle better forces. Nobody complained about the bearing at the end of the router bit blowing out. They all complained about the bearing on the shaft, the drive shaft of the router bit blowing out. So again, I decided to put a bigger bearing in there to improve longevity, make it work a little bit better, longer, and you do actually to cut through some harder, stronger materials, because I use my tools like a hammer, and this is something I plan on using for quite a while. So if you have any other questions, feel free to let me know. Best way to get a hold of me is on Printables. I'll put the link in the description, and thanks for your interest in my plastic shredder.